Perfect. So welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Natalie Salas, and we're with Unicorn Properties in this effort to expose and share more information about EXP tools when it comes to international real estate. Today's topic is Spain, one of my favorites, and we are going to go over some demographics, macro data, some of the touristic areas in the country, as well as going over some compliance stuff as well. So first, as I mentioned before, please introduce yourself in the chat so we can get to know each other, at least so we can go back to, who you are and what you do. Please leave your name as it is in workplace. That way we can find you. Otherwise, it will be hard to find you. You don't have your real name or your name that is showing in your profile. So as we do every week, we do a quick summary on what's coming and what we have covered so far. This is a weekly call. We have started in mid-February. We cover Mexico first, and then we're doing now Spain, and then for the next 2 weeks. We have the theory and the practice. Theory meaning we talk about the market, how do you do business there, how do you send referrals, how do agents there work in the area, what cities are trending. And also the practice will be anything that has to do with listings, what are the prices per square meter, depending on the area, what listings we're going to highlight as well from our own members in EXP. Then we also have the DR, Dominican Republic, coming up in a couple of weeks, and India after that. And then we're going to cover all 24 countries EXP is in, one by one, 2 countries per month until we finish, which is going to be a year. It's an ambitious agenda. I wanted to mention why is this important, because EXP give us all the tools that we need for us to be successful, but sometimes we don't know enough, and sometimes it's on us to learn how to understand more of the tools that we already have and how to talk to each other between markets. So make sure you check the recordings for Mexico. We have 2 already online. You can scan these, or you can have your phones ready for a few. When I have a few QR codes, you can scan throughout the presentation, and you can go straight to the video or to the playlist. Why is this important? People are moving around the world already. So whether we want to, promote our city right now or not, the world is already going into so many directions, right? Like people are moving, there is more remote working, and people are actually just shifting their whole lifestyle to a different country. So if we're not paying attention, we're missing out on some referral money that we can be making just without doing too much effort. You just connect the buyer with the other agent or peers within EXP. So make sure you check that. A quick reminder, these are the countries EXP is in. I don't know if you leverage or network with other people within the network, but if these are the countries, this is the list. I just remember that some countries don't need a license. So if you have somebody there that you want to attract that have a business or it's in the real estate space, you might want to talk to them, because EXP has a lot of tools and they give us almost everything we need to run a whole agency in different countries. And it's not too hard to tap into different countries as you just know people there already. Something we mention usually is like our ecosystem for real estate. Usually clients, when they move outside of the country, there's so many doubts and so many objections, right? Like, hey, so what do we do with financing? Can I buy there? Can I own land there? Do I have to be a resident, a citizen? What about the construction? How does it work with my taxes when I make money out of my property? Or, registering the property management and things like that. So we help with the whole ecosystem. We work with our local agents to make sure that we not only provide real estate services, but we provide more than that, because the client sometimes needs some hand holding if they're new, but if they're regular investors, they know what they need to do and how they need to do it. But this is a good ecosystem to keep in mind. So if you know anybody in the space, in any of these areas within Spain, please let us know. We have some agents here that are specialized in more than one area. So for example, Gonzalo and I were talking last week. He specialized in real estate, but also financing. Then we had, I think, Jose, that also did a golden visa process that will help clients go through that process as well. So we'll chat more about what that is. But keep in mind the ecosystem. You feel free to take a screenshot too, to just keep in mind of what are the people we need to network right now for our clients to be able to close a transaction, because they need to feel safe. This is the agenda for today. It's a long agenda, but I want to go through it super fast, including we'll introduce our managing broker from Spain, and he's going to share a little bit about you know, himself. When he joined EXP, he's pretty new, but we have so much, you know, we have everything we do in Spain will be, you know, related to him or his team. So I'm happy to introduce him in the next slide. Joaquin, I don't know if you can or would like to unmute yourself.
I can, and I will. Hello. My name. Do I talk now, or
yeah,
do you want
please,
to
please just
Okay.
share with us, you know, like what we were talking
Well,
about the other day.
I've been here like I'm brand new in EXP. I've been here for less than a month, but this is very intense. You know, just this morning I had a video call with all Spain, you know, all the Spanish agents, and they were asking me questions about my project and about what I wanted to do. I am a real estate agent. My father was a real estate agent, so I know the business quite well, at least how we do it here in Spain. I have an international background because I studied in the United States. And I really love the international business. I love this connection. That's why I'm here. Natalie just invited me, and I have to thank her. And you can count on me for any support in Spain. We have a great staff. We are growing very fast in the global network, and I think we'll still have a long way to go. Spain is like really people love buying, you know, more than renting in Spain, and then it's a very attractive destination for any foreigner. I am from Sevilla. Okay, Sevilla is a beautiful city. I am right now in Marbella, which is another place that I work. I used to have an office here, and there are really nice destinations for anyone who wants to enjoy, who wants to retire, who wants to invest. So it's really a very, very interesting market for anyone. Natalie, I don't know if you want me to say anything else about me or about Spain. I just, you know, I have a like since I'm starting, I have a very, very busy agenda. Natalie knows, and I just like I'm on the road between Malaga and Sevilla, and I just stopped at 1 second or this moment to say hi and introduce myself and just give support to this wonderful project. Okay.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. That was kind of like, and we know you're tight on time, but it was nice to have the group get to know you. And this is going to be recorded anyway. So for those that want to have more questions, I'm sure they can reach out to the whole support team in Spain. But thanks. Thank you so much for making the time.
I am there. You know, you can talk to me anytime. We are connected. And, you know, I try to talk with everyone. If I don't get, you know, right now I have time. I don't know if I'll be overwhelmed with people wanting to talk to me. Then we'll have to organize. I'm starting also to organize a calendar to have small meetings with people. I love, you know, to learn from anyone and everyone from their experience. You know, I have a lot of experience, but I also love knowing the opinion of everyone. I consider myself a people's person, and I think that's very important. You know, I want to communicate, and you know, some people around here know me a little bit better, and they know how I am.
No,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. Feel free to share your social media links as well, because I think you have very good content, and Bunny mentioned you, and she had many.
You'll be
good things to say.
surprised.
Yes. Well, yeah, we'll reach out. We have, well, at least you can find Joaquin under this full name in Workplace for any questions, you know. But thank you for making the time, because
Natalie, if
this is
you
very
allow
important.
me, I have to go. I would just wanted to be here, say hi, introduce myself. I'm here, and I want to help, and I want to do business, and I really, this is very exciting. Okay.
Awesome. No, perfect. Thank you so much. We'll continue with the agenda, but
Nice to meet you,
we got
all
you.
of you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios. Perfect. Thank you, Joaquin. And now you guys know Joaquin. He's new, so he's super full with agenda, but he made time to be with us because the more we know our managing brokers, the better, because then we can relate one-on-one with them, and then understand, plug into the calls if we have a new agent in Spain, for example, to support them better. So having the support from EXP, it's very helpful when we're onboarding new agents. So let's get started on the content itself. I wanted to thanks first to Gonzalo, who helped me doing this presentation. We spent like 8 hours doing it together between 3 days, and just downloading all his brain for, there's a lot of agents here in EXP that have his knowledge, but spending the time and putting it into a PowerPoint to share is an extra work. So thank you, Gonzalo, for spending the time with me. I'll share more information about him halfway through the presentation. But,
you're welcome.
Appreciate it. And for at least for the people who are in the US, Mexico and the Caribbean is kind of our vacation area. Sometimes it's Florida as well. But if you want to kind of retire and live more like a sunny lifestyle with nice weather by the beach, usually it's Mexico or Dominican Republic and, or Florida. So Spain, in my opinion, is kind of categorized similarly because all these areas cold too. So people run away from the cold. They find Spain as one of, the getaways, and the Costa del Sol is very well known for expats. So a lot of people from other countries that go and migrate there or have a second home. So I would call like Spain and Mexico, they're like the sunny area of the continent or the vacation area. So that's how we will kind of categorize it in this case. For Spain, as you guys know, it's part of the Schengen group. And then most people here are from the US. As Americans, we have 90 days to stay there freely. We don't need any visas, but also 90 days you need to step out, and there's going to be some legalities that you need to, in and out. I don't know what's exactly the number or when you can come back, but a lot of my friends go there for 90 days and they're like, oh, I got to go back home. So in order to avoid that, let's say, if you want to stay in Europe longer, Spain has a very good program, which is a benefit too, which is called the Golden Visa. And I don't know if you have, heard about the Golden Visa, if you ever care about it. A lot of people from South America love Spain as a destination to enter Europe and then having a better lifestyle. So the Golden Visa is just a program Spain has for any investors or families that want to invest 500,000 euros or more into real estate. And that will open the opportunity to become a citizen one day, or at least a local resident. There's a few requirements. I think for the Golden Visa itself, you don't have to be there, 6 months a year. You can just live there with your family. You have to make sure that you have enough funds to help, support your family financially for the time that you're in Spain. And there's other requirements as well. If you are in the EU, you don't need a Golden Visa because you already have access to all the European Union. But if you are from South America, you're from the US, and you want to stay longer in the country and you want to invest in real estate, this is a minimum requirement, 500,000 euros. And this can be not only one property, it can be multiple properties. If you find something for less, the only requirement is that at least amounts to 500 and up. So we have an interview with an attorney that we did. So I have a YouTube video for this specific, but it's in Spanish. We're working to translate it to English with AI, but she goes through the whole process of like, what's required, what's needed, and what's the process like. So it's pretty easy and straightforward. So if you have investors that want to transition to Europe, sometimes Spain is the easiest, the most friendly for investors. Some macroeconomic data. And these are real renders from Gonzalo, one of the projects he has. So I have it here just for you guys to check it out. But this is some of the area, Spain as the size of the country, the population, 48 million people. And of course, the currency is euros, but this is one of the largest cities in Europe, one of the largest countries. So here more economic data. I think for the tourist that, I don't know if you visited Spain, but it has such a beautiful cities everywhere. The top city, I don't know if you guessed, but it's Barcelona and Catalonia in general. with 18 million guests or tourists every year. So as you can see, there's a lot of nice, beautiful cities in this list that people go to, and most likely they're a beach town. So these are just for the touristic, statistics. Also, Gonzalo shared this article about Madrid being the next Miami, mostly because of the investments that are going there. And the country is doing a lot of effort to attract more investors to make sure that the local economy grows. So yeah, the population is rising again because it was declining for a while because people weren't having kids. So they open a little bit more of the immigration's borders to make sure they allow more people to be in the workforce. It's for sure an attractive destination for tourists. And there's a lot of investments from foreign countries, other countries within Europe, but also from the US now is growing even more. Some of the news as well coming from Madrid is that La Alcaldesa, the mayor, I think that's the mayor, yeah, is doing more efforts to attract companies to make sure, Madrid is also a destination for investments, not only for touristic purposes, but also to live long term and to migrate there as well if you choose to, invest there. In this map, we have just the top cities for real estate and also for, where most expat congregation are, like the majority of expats live. So of course we have Barcelona, we have Las Palmas, I think Ibiza is over here, Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, Malaga, and then of course, Canary Islands. And I was in Canary Islands in August, and my dad lives there. We did a few interviews with real estate agents there from EXP. So I don't know if you use the network for, networking with other real estate agents, but we did a few interviews in Barcelona, Valencia, and Las Palmas. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the interviews very much because I learned so much about the market. We get to network with other peers. And at the same time, you learn about, what the neighborhoods are, where to live, what's the process like. So we have a few interviews in our YouTube channel that has a quick summary on the coast of Spain over here. And also thanks for Marily to give us some information about, types of properties. What's in Spain, what can you buy, how you can buy it. So of course you have the same as the US, apartments, townhouses, villas. Also, we have to keep in mind that there's a lot of historic properties. So that has more requirements on the construction or renovation, of course, like, sometimes in the US as well, but Spain is such an older country. So there's a lot of things that you cannot touch in the outside, and there's a few requirements they need to follow and guidelines. And of course we have beach villas and all the good stuff by the coast. New developments are growing a lot. And there's also a lot of commercial properties for sale, and then that already have rental income. We'll present those next week on the potential investments. If you have investors that are curious and want to learn more about the numbers, right now Gonzalo has given me a few properties for commercial, so we will be presenting them next week. For new developments, there's a different type of buying process than regular, but we'll go over that in a bit. Perfect. We have the types of agencies is very similar to the US. This is just a few. There's one more that is the open listing. But for the buyer side, we have, the buyer's agent and the personal shopper, which they call it in Spain. I learned that recently when I was in Spain because usually Spain, what they do, and that we should do maybe in Mexico right now, is having the personal shopper experience and also the service. Because in the US doesn't happen as much because we have contracts that are more rigid. But if you step out of the US, the contracts are not as rigid. So when you have a relationship with a client, they can work with you for months and months at a time, and then they don't end up buying. But at that point, if they end up buying with somebody else, you have no protection and you spend a lot of time with them. That's why Spain now is very common that you will hire a personal shopper to find a property for you, because not all information is online and not all information is in a centric MLS. There's different platforms they're using right now, but for the personal shopper they work directly with the buyer. It's more than a buyer's agent that just help you close. It's more like, let me find a place for you, like it has this return or it has these requirements. It's very in-depth, the research they do as an online shopper, and they charge ahead of time the commission. Sometimes it can be a percentage, it can be a retainer. So that way they make sure that the client is engaged with the agent to make sure, nobody wastes time. And there's, of course, in the listing side, the unique agent, which is not like a super exclusive contract, but at least they let you market the property, as a solo agent. Or there's also the exclusive, which is like just a one-on-one, like whether they sell or not, you will be entitled your commission. So this is just some of the summarizing the types of agency. For the personal shopper, these are some of the steps that Gonzalo helped us understand, what's included in the service. So this is a service. It can be a base service ahead of time, or it can be deducted from the commission at the end. But I think there's a lot of research that goes into it, because it goes from, having an idea where I want to live, but sometimes the client doesn't know what they want or what they need. So they have a lot of questions, and there's a lot of research, and there's a lot of time involved. That's what here Gonzalo broke it down into what it is, the steps, and it's very similar to the US. But in this case, you're charging the client ahead of time for the commission if they choose to. It's allowed. So it will be a matter of having the agents saying, what their service like from the beginning. And if the client agrees, then, you're in business. There's more over here on the purchase process. Is like I said, like 80% of each transaction across all countries is very similar, and there's maybe a 20% variation by city or by country. This is a timeline that if you have everything ready to go and in place, you can close in 30 days. Of course, if you're missing something, it will delay the process, but it's very similar on the negotiation, offer, the promissory letter. Arras will be, I think, the earnest money for, this is your commitment that you want to buy this property. Usually it's 10% of the price, but everything is negotiable. That's when the agent commission comes in. Most of the time, not always, but it's suggested to be here. And then the rest of the process, there's, I think from what Gonzalo mentioned, there's not an attorney in place that will help you through the whole process unless you want to. It's optional, but the agent takes care of most of the transaction. So it will take you all the way to the end, to closing day, and they'll hold your hand through the process. So if it's a really good agent, they'll make sure they know what to do in each step of the way. And that's how you kind of distinguish a good active agent from maybe somebody who understands the process, but they don't know how to go through the finish line. Here's Gonzalo, and he and I spent a few hours together, a lot of hours putting this together. And I want to make sure that, you guys get to know him, find him a workplace, because what we went through was a lot of the lending options. How can you buy in Spain, and if you can finance it? When I went with my sister, we had the intention to buy, but we didn't know where to start. And everywhere we went for the banks, it was such a huge requirement. We don't live there, we don't have salaries there, but we still want to buy. We had the down payment, but we couldn't find a way to make it work, because either it was the variable interest, or it was a lot that they ask you if you don't have income in the country. So talking to Gonzalo kind of gave me like a breath of fresh air on like what the requirements are. He has a very nice calculator to get, through all the costs and everything. He can share, maybe you can do a one-on-one with him, and he can run a whole scenario of what will be your loan like, and if it's possible, because sometimes as a foreign investors it's not possible, but I think he found a way to make it happen. And he works with, it's like with different brokers that have activity and access to other larger banks. And if he doesn't qualify you with this one, he qualifies you with the other one. So please reach out to Gonzalo for any questions on financing. These are some of the services that are offered. The Basic, Pro, Elite, these are for residents, and there's no fee. The basic one doesn't have any fee. You can get up to 80% financing, if not 100. There's over here 100. The price is to be determined, and then they will charge you based on how much they can do for you, how much they can work your case in front of the financial services institutions. And there's also the non-resident, which I didn't know we can, my sister and I were looking for, is you can get up to 70% of your loan of the property. So if it's possible, I'll be exploring this one, because I didn't know, because every time we went to a bank, they'll tell you, no, it's not possible, or you have all these requirements that are a huge list, and we're like overwhelmed. We're like, I don't know, we want to buy in Spain. But understanding the process helps the client to be like, yeah, it's possible, and this is how. Types of buyers, of course, we have the residential local one, and then we have the residential, we have the foreign, anybody that is not from Spain or doesn't live in Spain. What is a local resident? If you live and work in Spain, so your income is in Spain, and they can check, all your paperwork will be within Spain. You can get up to 100% financing, which is pretty good because I haven't heard any banks doing that, at least in Spain, because we struggle a lot getting a loan to qualify for the requirements because we're non-residents. We're citizens of Spain, but we don't live there, so then you don't qualify as a local, even if you have a passport from there. So if you don't live or work in Spain, you are considered a non-resident. And if you don't pay taxes in Spain, and you're not from Spain, you're not a resident. So then you can get up to 70% financing, but there's some requirements, and each person will be different, of course, based on their case and based on the paperwork they can provide. Types of mortgages, similar to the US, fixed, variable, and there's a hybrid. And these are the requirements, and these are the terms. So I don't know, the interest could be up to 2%. So we were chatting about the rates right now. And the variable, you start low, and then you depend on the market. And then I just learned this term. It's called Euribor. Euribor? Gonzalo said it better. But it's like the Fed. They determine the rates and how the mortgages go. And they add a little percentage to buffer. You can get up to 30 years if you are resident. And then there's the hybrid, which is a combination of both. So right now, the interest is not that high as the US. So maybe you want to explore, or your clients want to explore a few options on what it's like to, what can you qualify for? And then at that point, if you already have a down payment, you can just proceed with the rest. This is for non-residents. It's similar, the buckets that we're talking about, the financing. You only get 20 years, up to 20 years. And then the rates will be a little higher, but it's not crazy high, so it's still reasonable. So then if you want to go for a fixed rate, it's 3%, 3.10. It's not too bad. So please, for any information for financing, I don't know exactly everything in detail, but we chatted a lot about this with Gonzalo, and he kind of was pretty straightforward, and like, it's possible to do it. We have clients that do it. We have non-resident clients that qualify, and also the rate is not that high. So this is a good opportunity to explore more. Closing costs, he mentioned, it's pretty typical to at least do 8 to 10% out of the total amount of the purchase to make sure that you have enough money to close. And then this varies, and we're going to talk about taxes a little bit. These are the Comunidades Autónomas of Spain, states. It's not like states, I would think. But then each of them has different rules, regulations, and each of them are independent, and they can operate, as a state. So they have different taxations. Taxes are different. It goes from 4 to 10% approximately. This will be the ITP, Impuesto, Gonzalo, what was it?
Impuesto de transmisión patrimonial.
Eso.
Sí, es para la compraventa de viviendas de segunda mano. Depende de cada comunidad autónoma.
Perfecto. So this is ITP, the tax for the property that is already, like they call it second hand. So it's already built, somebody else owned it before. And it will vary by state, by location. So we have some that are as little as 4 and some as high as 10. So it depends where you buy, and that will be the tax that you pay. We will be included in your closing costs. This is approximation, but that will be part of the taxes that need to be paid, at closing. So nothing too crazy, it's pretty reasonable. And then we have the two types of taxes that will, be on the seller side and on the buyer side. This is what Gonzalo just mentioned, the transmission. So you transfer your asset to a new person. They call it segunda mano, which is like second hand or the second owner, or after that, resale. For the seller side, we have the Impuesto de Incremento Patrimonial, which is kind of like the capital gain, how much your property value went up. And you will pay taxes based on that, based on the brackets. So the first few thousands will be a certain rate, and then it keeps going, and then you start paying more the more you have gained from that property. We'll call it capital gain, and these are the brackets. And there's also, you pay the municipality, the plusvalía, which is, there's a table for calculations, and then this will be on the closing documents for the seller side. For the buyers, we have the ITP, which we mentioned that will vary by where the property is located. And then we have the IVA. If it's a new property, brand new construction, you just pay the IVA, you don't pay the ITP. And this could be, it's 10% for new homes only. So this is the percentage of, if you buy a new development, if you go straight to, you agent, you want to be like, I just want new construction, and that would be the just new homes tax. El IBI. IBI is the property tax in Spain. IBI stands for Impuestos para bienes inmuebles. It's just real estate tax. And it varies by ayuntamiento, by the city, by the location that your property is in. And it varies by size of construction and also by the price of the property. So in this case, we have two examples here in Madrid that for, let's say, this look, I don't have the location exactly, but this is an example by size. It doesn't necessarily go like double the size, double the tax. It's more like it varies by location. So in this case, for a property that is 150 square meters, which might be 1,500 square feet-ish, give and take, you will pay $600 a year in property taxes. In this case, similarly, 2,600 square feet in this case. Well, I just usually add a zero for simplicity purposes, but I know there's a decimal there. You pay maybe 1,500 euros. So taxes in Spain are not crazy high. They're actually pretty reasonable for the properties that you own there. This is another example that we got from an actual statement that Gonzalo was able to share with us. And this is for 184 square meters, which is about 1,800 square feet. Construction time, they're paying about 925 euros per year, which is pretty good because this size in Chicago could be probably 7,000 a year USD. In this case, we're under 1,000 euros per year. So I think the taxes in Spain are pretty reasonable. They're not crazy, like something you have to put in. I mean, keep in mind, but you don't have to put it in your everyday burden. This is the report. As an example, we took some screenshots, and these are the ones that are here. For new construction, we have a few listings that Gonzalo has, and we're going to share more from other agents next week. But this was kind of what we threw together for today because we had very limited time. But there are homes that you can buy starting at 250,000 euros. So make sure you reach out to all our EXP agents within Spain if you have more questions about new construction. But remember that the IVA is applicable for new companies. And if you buy it as a company instead of as a person, you might be able to deduct this tax of the IVA. Just in your, as an expense or deduction. For more tax information, I'm not a tax advisor, but please check with your tax advisor, attorney, and then your real estate agent locally to make sure you get the exact amount. Make sure there's a trusted developer. There's always that one developer that takes longer or doesn't do what they're supposed to do. But in Spain, at least compared to Mexico, where we are right now, they have more responsibility in Spain to make sure that any money that they receive stays within the development. But there's always, exceptions to the rule. But I think the market in Spain is more protected in a way from the bad developers, let's say. So just make sure that you work with a good one that has good reputation, they're not behind, and you check the record. Most likely the local agent will know very well which ones are good and which ones are not good. The client doesn't pay anything additionally if the agent helps them with a new development. Sometimes they go straight to the builder and they're like, yeah, I want to save some money. The price is the same. It's just in this case, the agent will help you on the process, of course, to make sure that the contract is in the benefit of the buyers. That if there's anything change, if you want to do any structural modifications, if you want to remove this wall in the kitchen, add this, and as they're building it, they're very open to adjust to that. So it's not like set on stone and that's it. They can adjust to the modifications. Some risks, like everywhere, we have, so not every state requires a license. So anybody can be a real estate agent. Because of the same reason, you have to make sure that your agent or the person you work with, your partner in Spain, as in the real estate space, understands their market, understands the area. Also, there is, something that calls nota simple that you would check on the property before you even, put an offer on it to make sure it doesn't have any of these issues. And if it does, you can negotiate in the price, if it has any back taxes, any liens or things like that. And that can be checked within the city, and I think there has a cost to that. And also there is something called a Certificado de Eficiencia Energética that is needed before the sale, which is like the energy efficiency certificate, I think, translates to that. And that is required for a property before, the closing happens. Make sure that you understand the market fluctuations and of course the variation dollar to euros, that's always fluctuating. And there's also like an epidemic of bad tenants sometimes, like anywhere, but the laws, I think, in Spain are strict. So if you have something called ocupas, like they're occupying your property, it's hard to get them out. So make sure you double check, or you work with an agency, a property management agency that makes sure that you don't have any invasions in the property. Because I think the Spain as a country is protecting, of course, the tenants. But if you're an investor, it might not be. You might be in the other side of the spectrum. So of course, you guys know this, just emphasizing the importance of having a professional agent, that they know the market. They're not doing this part-time, they're doing this full-time. They understand, what's needed. They can work for you, for your client, and then just jump obstacles, and they already know how to go around certain things in the law that will make sure that the client gets benefits from this transaction, whatever is within the law. But they also, get the asset valuation to make sure they're paying the right price and everything else that is here. So this is kind of the end, working towards the end and how we can collaborate. So the goal of these presentations are to network with other agents. That's what I ask you to leave your information in the chat so we can, talk to each other later on. I'm getting to know more agents as they join the call. And I'm looking forward to hear more about, other areas that we're looking at. For next week, we're talking about only listings and comparing like the CMA that the US has, but by city. Let's cover Malaga, let's cover Madrid, Barcelona, and then check the prices per square foot or per square meter. That way, you can compare apples to apples, This one is 3,000 euros per square meter. This one is 1,500 per square meter. What's the difference? Maybe it's farther away from the beach. Maybe it's in a smaller city. So all these things we're gonna cover next week. And of course, you can work with us and you can work with people in this call as a referral agent. You can also work together on content creation. We do a lot of interviews with agents, either via Zoom or in person around the world, and especially in the countries EXP is in. Soon we'll have the program that is Travel with Us, and we're going to have tours around different countries to understand more of the real estate, but in person, and as you see it with the professionals that we're working with already right now. So please build relationships, because if you're up to, if you like traveling, we love traveling with with the real estate glasses. We want to see everything through real estate and how we love, what we do, and we want to learn how in other countries is done. Because one thing is learning the theory in a book, and the other one is practice, reading in between the lines, what are the ways to get, transactions faster. Maybe you won't learn that in a book. You will learn that from our peers here in this call. And then share the word out here. This is, again, the QR code to the prior recordings. So you can go and watch the 2 sessions of Mexico, and you can watch this session tomorrow. We'll post it. And then it will be public for a little bit, but we'll have to take it down because it's, intel that we don't want to share with other agencies. And we want to keep it within, protected in a core setting or something like that. You can have access to it, but we don't want to have it in YouTube for too long because it's sensitive information. But right now it is, because right now we're just going so fast. We just need to get it out there. Thanks to Gonzalo here again for the collaboration. We spent several hours putting this together. And this is his information. You can take a screenshot, or you can scan here to go to his WhatsApp directly to ask any questions about not only the real estate piece, but also the finance piece, in case your client has been struggling qualifying. He has a lot of brokers he works with to make sure that they push that through the case of that specific client that might be stuck. They want to buy, but they don't know how. And then also want to mention a couple more agents that have been in contact with us. And again, I'm putting here people that actually reach out to us, and we can talk a little bit and have networking, work together on the presentation. So anybody who reaches out to me, please send me your photo and I'll add you in the slides for next week. But I wanted to, thank Juan for reaching out to Joaquin, setting up the call, making sure he came, and then we have, the managing broker in our calls, which is super important for us, is key. He covers Malaga, and we're gonna be sharing some of his listings next week. We have Jose Vidal. I talked to Jose a long time ago when I started in EXP to talk about the Golden Visa, and we have an interview. We haven't published yet, but we're gonna have to refresh that content. He's in Marbella. So thank you, Jose, for the Golden Visa information. I think he's really good at that. He has people that can help you with that and the process itself. Malaga and Marbella are awesome. So if you have any questions of real estate for that specific area, those are your people. For next week, please do, if you're in this call and you want to share more about Spain, your listings, anything that has to do with real estate, prices, demographics, fun facts about the cities, we know the main cities, Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, so forth, but we don't know everything. And then some cities are growing a lot and we don't know about them because we're not there physically. So talking to local agents is super helpful to get all these insights. Again, you can find us in YouTube, Instagram, Telegram. But if you want to get a hold of me directly to send me your listings, this is my WhatsApp directly. I get a ton of messages, but I'm trying to get through all of them and then make sure that I gather all the information for next week, because each week we're going full time creating the presentation for next week. And now we're already working on the presentation for Dominican Republic. So it is a lot of work that gets involved, but a whole purpose with this is to make sure that we're all connected, we all talk to each other, and we can showcase the agents that are already there because they're doing a great job. With that, I'll stop sharing. And hopefully you like that. We can open it for Q&A and I can stop recording. So we have, a short video to rewatch later.